Welcome to Conversations Live. For more than a decade, we've brought you the best in books, entertainment, and current events. When the movers and shakers of the world have something to say to you, they say it to us first. Now, here's your host, Cyrus Webb.
And welcome back, everyone, to Conversations Live. I'm your host, Cyrus Webb. Glad you all could join us once again. Were you tuning in on the radio dial in Mississippi at WYAD 94.1 FM? We welcome you all back to our program, as well as tuning in through our online affiliates around the world. We're glad to have all of you with us as well. Our next guest is someone that is really no stranger to Conversations Live. We're excited to welcome recording artist Russell Taylor back to our program. And if the name sounds familiar, you know him because of songs like War of Hearts, as well as songs like Electric. Well, this year he's released a brand new project that's getting a lot of buzz. It's called Tin Man the Blue. We're going to talk to him about the new project, what it's been like for him to see the response, and you guys will be hearing the single Thrill from the project and finding out how you can stay connected with Russell as well. Russell, hello to you, and welcome back to the program, man.
Hey, how you doing, Cyrus? Thanks for having me.
Hey, man, glad to do it. I mean, you're ending off the year in a really big way, as I said. Of course, you debuted the project Tin Man the Blue. We're going to talk about that, but also this single Thrill. What has it been like for you, Russell, if you kind of reflect on this journey in music you've been able to have, and what's been the response to your own unique voice?
This journey, particularly recording this project, Tin Man the Blue is part of a trilogy, so it's the first of three. And recording this project over the past year and a half in New York City and Atlanta and Los Angeles has been quite the journey. And I think that's the purpose, at least for artists. Well, I can speak for me. I know that if I can't take a trip from A to Z and be changed, like when I get to Z, I'll be a different person and my art reflect that, then I didn't do the work that I'm required to do as those artists before me. So it's been a great journey, though, and a lot of learning about the process, about learning and working with other people in their process. And then now comes this great record, and the response so far, a great record if I can say so myself, and the response so far has been cool.
Right.
You know, it's been a nice, steady, slow burn, which is exactly what we want in this current environment that we're in. There's so much information, so much material that things that can be flashes in the pan, and we don't want that. We want people to fall in love with it organically and keep it around.
Right, for sure. And, and there's a lot of great music. I got it through our friends at Amazon.com, Russell. Of course, there's a single Thrill we're going to be hearing, a song like Wide Awake as well. Now, you are known, as I said, because of songs that more talk about love, talk about relationships. Of course, we've talked about on this program before, War of Hearts and the process with that. You said something interesting, though, as you were talking about Tin Man, it being, of course, the beginning of, this trilogy that you're doing. Do you find that each project is kind of like a new chapter that's not only kind of chronicling who you are as a person, but also what you see in the world around us?
Absolutely, man. As I was recording all of these tunes, the goal was I worked with producer Needles, also known as Kareem King. He's done Bruno Mars and countless others. He's won Grammys and so forth. And Kareem's approach to this recording process is that you just work your butt off and write some good songs. We put them down, and then we figure out how to organize them, after. Don't have a goal in mind other than making good records. So I was making records and about how I feel and in the current state of things, but not able to articulate it per se in the art just yet. And then one of the last songs that I wrote for the project is Superman. And when I completed the vocals for it, I still hadn't had a title for the album. And it was when I was walking, I'm turning around thinking about all of our brothers that have been shot in the street. And then the subject, the impetus, the genesis for me writing Superman was beautiful brown boy, maybe 8 or 9 years old in Harlem, bouncing a basketball off of Lenox Avenue. And then this feeling that I had is like, I hope God protects him for what he may have to endure for his life as an African-American male in this time that we live in. And so thinking about all this stuff that's swirling around, all the records that I've done, blah, 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 then Tin Man the Blue came to me. Tin Man came to me, and The Wiz, where Nipsey Russell said, what would I do if I could feel? And as an African-American man, I feel like we've been under fire so long and so much that we don't have the luxury of being vulnerable. And sometimes most of the time it keeps us alive, but sometimes it's bad for our interpersonal relationships. And so that's how I got to Tin Man the Blue. And the blue part represents, as you could tell, that the mood of the record is introspective and moody, but not maudlin, not like depressing, but serious.
Right. Right. Well, I want to talk to you about that because, one of the things I do, of course, when I'm listening to music, I think to myself about what I'm taking away from it. I also then factor in, if I'm going to speak to the guest, what others have said about it. SoulBounce.com had, I think, a great write-up about this project. And I think one of the big things that they said is about, with Tin Man, you seem to dive into your own consciousness to explore your own humanity. I thought that was a great line. Do you see that with music in general with you, Russell, that you kind of, with each project you do that? You do yourself a self-check, and that kind of reflects itself in the music.
That's exactly it. And, if I would give you a handshake and a hug, man, for getting there for me. I appreciate that. Yeah. That's exactly what I do. I've been a student of the Harlem Renaissance and all of the creators of the Harlem Renaissance for as long as I've been able to understand what it means. And if there's nothing that I can take away from that period, was that artists really had a job to do. It was fun and it was creative, but it was also a job. And the job was like, to bring people through stuff, through great stuff, through everyday stuff, through love stuff, through pain, like through everything, not just the heavy stuff, And that was what my approach was for this record. That's what my approach is always. Is like to go through something, and going through doesn't mean bad. It just means going through it,
Mm-hmm. Right. And you have welcomed people to be a part of this conversation. You have supporters of yours that have been definitely out championing the project Tin Man the Blue. Trina Broussard, who I noticed, another recording artist, she actually tweeted about the project, please support good music. When you see other artists singing your praises or appreciating what you've done, how does it make you feel?
It feels great. When we're creating, artists create. When I create, I put myself in a vacuum. So you have to, in order to stay true to what's coming out, you can't worry about how it's going to be received. But then once you've done all the work that you possibly can and you put your best foot forward, the safest bet is to say, I did my best, and it doesn't matter if anybody gets it. I did my best. And that's a great approach. But as an artist, it's great to feel and hear that your peers enjoy something and respect something and understand something that you've done. And, Trina Broussard, Cy Smith, Lettucey, my homegirl Vula, like a lot of Layla, a lot of people across the board have been giving me some great shout-outs, and it's wonderful. I'm just looking forward to more people stumbling to it and falling into the ocean, if you will.
For sure. And we're going to let them know how they can stay connected with you. We want to say for those who are just tuning in, either on the radio side or online, you're listening to Conversations Live. Recording artist Russell Taylor is back with us today. We're talking with him not only about his new project, Tin Man the Blue, but also this musical adventure that he's been on, that he's been able to take us on as well. Let's jump into the music. Russell, I mentioned the single we're going to be hearing here from the project is called Thrill. What can you tell us about this particular song?
Thrill is a record I wrote in L.A. It was blazing, 90-some degrees, and I went to hang out with one of the producers, Tim Kavasnowski, and in his home studio, and it just, in 10 minutes, he just started playing around on the keys, and then a song came together. And it was about, we tumbled around over the hook a little bit, but it's basically about living life not dangerously, but living life by pushing it to the edge, pushing through your boundaries, pushing for life, for love, and all of the challenges that come along with it. Like if you live in this safe space, which I notice is kind of a recurring theme for me, but if you live in this safe space, like how much growth do you really get? And it's the thrill of being a little naughty, the thrill of taking a chance, the thrill of the risk of falling over the edge, but not quite.
Got you. We're going to talk more about that going over the edge here in a moment. Russell, but for those who are just hearing about the single, here is Thrill from the project 10 Men the Blue. We'll be back with our final moments with Russell right after this.
Pull up, pull up, pull up on the line. Pull up, pull up, pull up on the line. Pull up, pull up. Pull up on the line. Pull up, pull up. Pull up on the line. Gamblers think they play to win, but they always lose. Tell themselves they have a choice when they never choose. Slow motion off the rails, you can't look away. To the danger, need to taste the pain. It's the thrill of losing it all at the edge and looking to fall over. It's the thrill of losing it all at the edge and looking to fall over. Pull up on the line. 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 Selfish lovers chase the skin, never lose the taste of sin. Breaking hearts as they choose, retaliate for every bruise. Slow motion off the rails, you can't look away. We might know the danger, but we do it anyway. It's the thrill of losing it all at the edge and looking to fall.
That again was 3-0 from the project Tin Man the Blue by recording artist Russell Taylor. It's available through our friends at Amazon.com or through your favorite online retailer. We're going to let you guys know here in a bit how you can stay connected with Russell. One of the ways you've been able to stay connected with your fans, of course, is you've been out meeting them, Russell, is also through social media. You've been able to not only promote the project, but also to kind of let them know what's on your mind, kind of as you're looking at the world that we're living in. What has that platform been like for you to be able to use that way, to not only to engage with them about the music, but also about the messages that led to the music?
Yeah, man, I had always been of the mindset that you keep your social media clean and you don't leave any jagged edges and you keep it cool. But, here recently, particularly in these political times that we're living in the world, I think that if you stay quiet about things that you fundamentally have issues with that are happening in the world, then you kind of low-key contributing to it. So I've been posting a lot more on my social media platforms about the things that I feel about what's happening today in the world, and it's turned into a great tool to engage about music and film, television, politics, and so forth. I'm an African American man, and African American man's experience and his life and the value of his life today is very important to me. And I just like to bring people to, make people pay attention to the uncomfortable truth that there is still a lot of racism and biases. I mean, for God's sakes, we're having people being sold as slaves in Libya right now. So, this is important, and the uncomfortable truth is we have to face it. And individual one, we can all make some changes individually that will lead to a collective change.
You mentioned before we heard Thrill, Russell, about playing it safe and not playing it safe and going for it. I mean, of course, the decision that you made is not a safe one because not everyone is not going to like it. So I had to ask you, what was it an easy decision to make? Knowing, I mean, we see what happened in sports where you have certain individuals, certain athletes were treated differently, to say, put it lightly, for taking a stand in something that they believe in and using their platform that way. Was it an easy thing for you to wrestle with to do it?
Yes, it is easy. It is easy to tell the truth. The truth is that I've been stopped by police, and I have been afraid. I mean, my father is a retired cop, a Philadelphia cop, 28 years in Department of Defense and federal government and so forth, president of Fraternal Order Police. There's so many police officers and law enforcement in my family. I had no reason to be afraid of them. But I have been put in positions where I'm afraid, and in the past and recently, where I'm afraid that something may happen, that I may not walk away from this. And if I'm quiet, and then as a result, with a lot of Facebook friends or friends from, the different circles that I exist in and code switch and live in, when you don't talk about those things, it seems foreign and distant. But when you speak about them, then suddenly people are engaged in a different way, and it holds people accountable slowly but surely for my safety, and then it turns into the safety of someone else that they kind of know, an acquaintance, and then it turns into responsibility for the safety of all people. So you got to speak up.
Gotcha.
The individual responsibility is just as important.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you, and I could tell even when I was prepping for this segment, Russell, that is something that you're passionate about. I had asked you this so our audience knew. I had asked him about it was okay for us to talk a little bit about that. And then I love the fact that you're having that conversation with your fans, too, because as you said, you bring up an interesting point about, you kind of become complicit when you're silent. And I think, that's something for all of us, I think, to think about when it comes to things that we feel strongly about. So it's great that you've been able to use your platform that way. Again, everyone, Russell Taylor has been our guest. The new project that's out now is called Tin Man the Blue. It's available again through our friends at Amazon.com or through your favorite online retailer. If it is not Amazon, I totally get that. So you can find it at the other places as well. And Russell, how can our audience stay connected with you and kind of keep up with what's coming up next for you?
Oh, please, yes. You can find me. I'm on Instagram and Twitter at rsoulstar. I am RussellTaylor.net, and then also YouTube. I'm everywhere. I'm the person that checks all my social media, and I'm very actively engaged. So please reach out to me, talk to me, let me know what you think in it. Spread the word of the music, spread the music, and I hope you enjoy it.
All right. We definitely enjoyed this conversation, Russell. Russell, congratulations to you again, and thank you so much for the time. Really appreciate it.
Hey, man, Cyrus, thank you so much. And I look forward to my new records when they come out. I look forward to talking to you every time. Thank you.
Appreciate that, man. And we thank your audience for tuning in to another great segment of Conversations Live. If you all came in late and missed part of the conversation with Russell, don't worry. Thanks to our online friends, you all can catch the replay right after we go off the air. The link is already available through our social media sites. So head over to Facebook.com/Cyrus Webb or go to Twitter.com/Cyrus Webb. If you click on the link there, you can listen to the show completely for free and share with your friends from there too. Until next time, I'm your host, Cyrus Webb, saying as always, enjoy your day, enjoy your life, enjoy your world. Make sure you take out time to enjoy some good music as well as a great book. Thank you all for choosing Conversations Live today. You all make it a great one.